The galaxy never forgot the day humanity stood in the Grand Hall of Judgment, a place built with floating crystal pillars, glowing symbols, and thousands of alien species watching from every direction. The hall felt cold, heavy, and full of quiet hatred. Humans had been called here to defend themselves, but from the moment they entered, it was clear the decision was already made. Commander Aaron Hale stood at the center platform, surrounded by alien leaders. He felt every eye staring at him with suspicion, some filled with fear, some with anger, and some with the cold satisfaction of someone watching a punishment they had waited for. Aaron kept his voice calm as he spoke. He reminded them of humanity's peaceful missions, their scientific work, their help in wars, and their loyalty to the Galactic Alliance. But no one listened. The Xyrith Chancellor slammed his staff on the floor and shouted that humans evolved too fast. He said humans were unpredictable, emotional, and dangerous. He claimed humanity would one day take over the galaxy if allowed to grow. The hall echoed with alien voices agreeing. They did not want humans to rise higher. Aaron felt his chest tighten. It was not justice, it was fear, pure fear of humanity's potential. When Aaron begged for one last chance to speak, the Chancellor raised a hand. Silence, human, he said. His voice cut the air like a blade. You are already judged. A deep hush fell over the hall. A glowing orb rose above the Chancellor, counting the votes of the Alliance. One by one, red symbols appeared in the air. Every red symbol meant exile. Aaron watched helplessly as species after species voted to cast humanity out of the galaxy. 20 votes. 40 votes. 80 votes. 108 votes for exile. Only 2 small races voted to keep humanity, and even they lowered their eyes in sadness. When the final vote appeared, the Chancellor lifted his staff high. By the will of the Galactic Alliance, humanity is hereby banished. Gasps filled the room. Humans in the hall froze. The punishment was far worse than they expected. The Alliance ordered that Earth be sealed behind a powerful exile barrier. No ships could enter or leave, no trade, no allies, no communication. Humanity was being locked away to die slowly, forgotten and alone. Aaron felt anger rising in him, but he forced it down. Anger would only prove their point. Instead, he asked quietly, why? The Chancellor leaned close and whispered words that would stay in Aaron's mind forever, because we fear you. Moments later, human representatives were pushed out of the hall, escort ships guiding them back to their transport as alien crowds laughed, shouted insults, and mocked. It was the darkest day humanity had faced in centuries. When the human ship returned to Earth, every nation, every leader, every citizen gathered to watch the message from the Alliance. They watched the glowing barrier rise around the solar system, trapping them inside an invisible cage. Children cried, soldiers clenched their fists, leaders stood speechless. Humanity had been abandoned by the galaxy they once helped. But while panic spread, Aaron did not break. He knew something was wrong with the Alliance's fear, something they were hiding, something old, something ancient, something connected to humanity's past. 3 days later, Aaron received a secret call from a research team in Antarctica. Their voices shook as they spoke. Sir, we found something under the ice, something not from today, not even from our known history. The team guided him deep into the frozen tunnels, down metallic stairs that should not exist, until they reached a giant metal door half buried in ice. Strange symbols glowed faintly on its surface, symbols that no human language could explain. When Aaron touched the door, it opened by itself. Inside was a massive chamber, dark, silent, ancient. At its center stood a colossal machine shaped like overlapping rings, each carved with the same strange markings. The machine felt alive even though it was asleep. A researcher whispered, "Sir, we scanned it. This structure is older than any human civilization. It is older than our recorded history. It might be older than the Alliance itself." Aaron stepped forward, staring at the impossible machine. Why was something so powerful built on Earth? Who built it, and why was it hidden? He placed his hand on one of the metal rings. The chamber trembled, lights flickered to life, and the machine awakened with a deep humming sound that vibrated through the ice and into the Earth itself. Then a voice echoed in the chamber, not speaking any known language, yet every human understood it. "Rise." The lights around the rings brightened, symbols rearranging themselves like a message being delivered from the past. Aaron felt something powerful move through the air, a force that belonged to humanity but came from a forgotten era. The research team stared in terror and awe. Aaron stepped back, realizing the truth. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not the mistake the Alliance claimed. Humanity was something else, something the galaxy feared for a reason. The machine spoke again, louder, stronger. Rise. Aaron understood. The Alliance did not exile humanity because humans were dangerous today, they exiled humanity because they feared what humans could become tomorrow. And now, Earth had awakened the very thing the galaxy feared most. Humanity's true power. The ancient machine under Antarctica did not stop humming, its rings moved slowly, creating patterns of light across the chamber walls, as if it was trying to speak to every human who stood near it. Commander Aaron Hale watched the rings rotate, feeling a strange weight in his chest, something between fear and destiny. The machine was not just technology, it was a message, a reminder, and a warning. The research team studied it non-stop, scanning every inch, reading every symbol, comparing every pulse of energy, but nothing matched any known human science, nothing matched alien science either. It was older, deeper, more advanced, like a seed planted for the future. Aaron gathered Earth's leaders in a hidden meeting. They all listened silently as he explained what they found. Some leaders doubted the discovery, some feared it, but most of them felt the same thing Aaron felt. Humanity had stumbled upon something that was waiting for them. "We are trapped," one leader said, "cut off from the galaxy, no trade, no allies, no support." Aaron nodded, "Yes, but we are not helpless anymore." He showed them the recording of the ancient machine speaking the word "rise." The room went silent. Every leader understood something important, something the Alliance never wanted humanity to know. Humans had a past the galaxy was afraid of. A power hidden deep in the earth. A history erased long before today. Within a month, Earth created a secret initiative known only to a few, Project Dawnstar. It became the center of all human progress, a plan to rebuild civilization in a hidden way, without the galaxy knowing. Scientists, engineers, pilots, soldiers, and thinkers from every nation joined together under one rule: humanity must rise again. The exile barrier cut them off from the galaxy, but it also gave them something even more valuable: peace from alien interference. Using the ancient machine as their core source, humans built new energy systems, materials stronger than metal, and engines faster than any ship they ever had. They were building things the galaxy believed they could never build again. Deep underground, a secret city began to grow, a place where scientists could work day and night, powered by the machine's energy. They named it Haven Core. It became the heart of a new human future. But while Earth rebuilt in secret, something strange happened. Satellites near the exile barrier detected vibrations, small but consistent, as if something outside was scanning them. Aaron studied the signals and realized the truth. Rogue alien factions were watching the solar system even after exile, trying to see if humans would collapse. "They expect us to become weak," Aaron said to his council, "let them expect it." Meanwhile, Project Dawnstar continued to expand. The ancient machine revealed more secrets every day. New symbols glowed, unlocking new chambers within the underground complex. Inside those chambers were blueprints, models, and devices that no one had seen before. They were not meant for ancient humans but for the humans who live today. One discovery changed everything: a room filled with floating spherical drones, each showing star maps of distant systems. But the maps were not current, they were older, showing places that no longer existed, or places that had changed names long before records began. "This is our forgotten past," one researcher whispered. "We were somewhere out there once." Soon, Earth built its first new starship powered by the ancient machine. It was sleek, dark, and silent, capable of bending light around itself, making it invisible to sensors. They named it the Silent Voyager. The day it was finished, Aaron stood before the ship with pride. It was the first symbol of humanity's rising strength, a ship that could break the exile barrier without being seen or detected. The crew stepped inside with nervous excitement, ready for a mission that no human had attempted since exile. "Find the truth," Aaron told them, "find out why the galaxy fears us." The ship vanished into space like a shadow, leaving no trail, no signal, no trace. But Aaron knew their journey would not go unnoticed. Somewhere beyond the barrier, an alien listening post detected a strange disturbance. The alien commander frowned as he watched the readings change. "Impossible," he whispered. humans should not have this technology. Back on Earth, a new generation of soldiers began training under Project Dawnstar. They were called the Vanguard. They trained their bodies, their minds, and their instincts to survive in ways no alien would expect. They used new weapons grown from ancient knowledge, armor stronger than steel but lighter than cloth. Aaron visited them often, watching their progress. He knew a time would come when they would step beyond Earth again, not as exiles, but as something far greater. But there was a shadow beneath the excitement, a quiet fear. The ancient machine continued to whisper strange messages in its unknown language, messages the researchers could not fully decode. One message repeated again and again late at night, glowing across the chamber walls in bright golden rings. They will come. Aaron stood before the machine and felt a cold chill run through him. The galaxy feared humans, but the machine feared something else entirely, something older and far more dangerous. Humanity's rise had begun, but so had something much darker. The silent Voyager glided through the darkness of space, completely invisible, its hull bending light so perfectly that even the exile barrier sensors could not detect it. The human crew moved quietly through the corridors, their hearts full of a strange mix of fear and excitement. For the first time since exile, a human ship was exploring the galaxy again, but this time in secret. Captain Lyra Vance, a calm and sharp officer, led the mission. She watched her crew on the bridge as the ship passed through the barrier with a silent shimmer. "We are out," she whispered. The crew stared at the stars beyond their prison, stars they had been forbidden to see. It felt like freedom, but it also felt like war. Far away, in the Galactic Alliance, rumors began to grow. It started with a small transport ship that vanished without warning, then a patrol vessel that lost all power near the exile zone, and finally a mining colony that received a strange signal, one that sounded human. The rumors spread across alien markets, taverns, communication networks, and military stations. Did humanity survive? Are they back? Did they evolve? Did they build something dangerous? Most alien officials laughed at the rumors. They believed humans were dying slowly inside their cage, too weak to rise again. But a few commanders, the ones who actually fought beside humans in past wars, felt something strange in the reports. They remembered how quickly humans learned, how fast they adapted, how fearless they became under pressure. One retired alien admiral, a thick-skinned warrior named Vurox, read the reports with a trembling hand. "This is no rumor," he said quietly. "This is exactly how humans move, unseen until the final moment." Meanwhile on Earth, the ancient machine revealed more secrets. New chambers opened under Antarctica, showing advanced blueprints of starships, armor, and even structures that looked like giant planetary shields. Researchers worked day and night, trying to understand where all this knowledge came from. One scientist, Dr. Mara Lin, discovered something remarkable. She found an archive in the machine's core that displayed a rotating map of the galaxy, but it was not the galaxy as they knew it today. Several stars were missing, some were brighter, some were labeled with ancient human symbols instead of alien names. "This is a map from before the Alliance existed," she whispered. "Humanity had a history that was erased." Aaron listened in silence, his mind racing. Everything was pointing toward a forgotten past, a past that aliens feared, a past that humans were now rediscovering. At the same time, the Vanguard continued their intense training. They trained with advanced weapons, learned zero-gravity combat, and practiced silent infiltration using cloaking suits powered by the ancient machine. Every day they grew stronger, faster, and smarter. They were not just soldiers anymore, they were the future of Earth. One night, as Aaron watched their training, an emergency alert flashed across the command screens. A colony near the exile zone had received a message. The message was short, clear, and terrifying. "You will answer for your vote." The colony leaders panicked, calling the Galactic Alliance for help, but the Alliance was confused. "This message did not come from us," they said, "it came from the human solar system." Aaron saw the report and froze. He knew the silent Voyager was out there, but he did not authorize any message. Someone else was speaking, or something else. Back on the silent Voyager, Captain Lyra received the same report. The crew swore they never sent any message. Fear crept through the ship. If neither Earth nor the Voyager sent the transmission, then who did? Lyra walked to the observation deck, staring into the dark. "Something is watching us," she whispered, "something old." The ship continued deeper into unexplored sectors, and that is when they found it, a massive spherical ruin floating in the emptiness, cracked and glowing faintly with the same symbols found on the ancient machine under Antarctica. The crew gasped. "Is this human?" one crew member whispered. "It can't be," another answered. "But the symbols, they match." Lyra ordered a scan, and the result stunned the entire ship. The structure was ancient, older than any known civilization, and it contained traces of human DNA markers in its design, not from modern humans, but from some older, unknown branch of humanity. Back in the Alliance, more ships reported strange sightings, ghost-like signatures, flickers of invisible vessels, and movement in abandoned star systems. The panic grew, governments argued, leaders blamed each other, and military commanders strengthened patrols along the exile zone. One alien senator shouted during a meeting, "We should have destroyed Earth, not exiled it." Another replied with shaking hands, "It is too late now." In Haven Core, the ancient machine pulsed again, this time brighter than ever. A string of symbols appeared on the main screen. Dr. Mara Lynn translated them slowly, her voice trembling. "They are returning." Aaron felt a cold wave run through him. "Who?" he asked, but the machine did not answer, it simply repeated the same message again and again. "They are returning." The galaxy feared humans, but now humans feared something else, something older, something that existed before their exile, something that was waking up at the same time humanity began to rise again. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, far beyond what any human had mapped, a dark shape moved in silence, heading toward the stars humans once called home. To be continued. The silent Voyager floated near the ancient spherical ruin, its dark hull blending into the shadow of the broken structure. Captain Lyra Vance stood at the viewing window, staring at the drifting giant. Her crew moved carefully around her, speaking in low voices, stunned by the discovery. The ruin was proof of something unbelievable. Humans had been here before. Not modern humans. But humans from an older time, a forgotten age. A civilization erased from both galactic memory and human history. Lyra ordered a small drone inside the structure. The drone slipped through a cracked opening, its lights revealing massive halls filled with ancient consoles and curved walls marked with the same glowing symbols found under Antarctica. Every symbol seemed to pulse with weak life, as if trying to speak. Then the drone scanned a tall control pillar, and the data shocked the crew. It showed a star map linking Earth to dozens of distant systems, systems long destroyed or taken over by newer species. It was a map of humanity's first empire. Lyra whispered, "We were here once, long before the Alliance." But before they could search deeper, the ship's alarms rang. A small alien patrol ship had entered the area, scanning for unknown signatures. The silent Voyager shut down all lights and drifted silently. Ancient cloaking combined with modern stealth made the ship vanish into the void. The alien ship passed slowly, unaware of the human presence, but it caught a faint energy echo from the ruined sphere. It recorded it, confused, then turned away. Lyra knew what that meant. "The galaxy will come here," she said. "They will find this place, and they will fear us even more." Meanwhile on Earth, Aaron Hale stood inside Haven Core, watching as the ancient machine released another pulse of golden light. The echoes reached every chamber, activating new platforms and new doors. The machine was awakening faster now, as if it felt something approaching, something urgent. Dr. Mara Lynn ran toward Aaron, holding a tablet with shaking hands. "We decoded another message," she said. "It is not complete, but it warns us about something." She pulled up the translation, and glowing symbols formed speech across the screen. "Rise quickly. They seek your extinction. They are near." Aaron stared at the words until they felt stamped into his mind. Something old was coming, something powerful enough for ancient humans to leave warnings behind. He turned to his commanders. "Prepare the vanguard," he ordered. "We do not wait anymore." The training halls erupted into motion. The vanguard soldiers suited up in advanced armor, each piece embedded with stabilizers, sensors, and generators made from ancient designs. Their weapons glowed with soft blue light, powered by the same energy that awakened the machine. When the vanguard stood in formation, even the strongest military leaders felt a shiver run through them. Humanity had never seen warriors like these. They looked like guardians from forgotten legends returning to life. At the same time, engineers in Haven Core completed assembling a massive new fleet. The ships were silent, dark, and designed to disappear into space like shadows. The first formation was named the Silent Fleet. Aaron stepped into the command center and gave the order that would change everything: uncloak. Above the Earth, thousands of ships shimmered into view for a brief moment, like a ghost army returning from the dead, then they vanished again, leaving only a faint ripple in the sky. Humanity was ready to return. The moment the Silent Fleet moved, the exile barrier lit up with distorted signals. The Galactic Alliance detected something approaching. They scrambled their border defenses, activating shields, stations, and emergency beacons. Alien commanders shouted orders: prepare for unknown vessels. Identify the threat. Is it the humans? But before any station could react, the space in front of the barrier shimmered, and the silhouettes of human ships emerged, slowly uncloaking in a perfect formation. Their arrival was silent, but the message they sent echoed across thousands of channels. We endured, the broadcast said. Aaron's voice was calm and strong. You cast us out, but we did not fall. Alien officers panicked, scrambling to power up weapons, but every system they activated shut down instantly. The Silent Fleet projected waves of interference so strong that alien technologies froze like insects caught in ice. Aaron continued his message: we are not here for war, but we are not here for submission. The Alliance Council watched in fear and disbelief. Every alien leader felt the weight of humanity's rise. They thought exile would break humans forever. Instead, it forged them into something far stronger. Some members begged for peace, others demanded immediate attack, but before they could decide, a massive shadow appeared behind the human fleet. The ancient machine under Antarctica pulsed at the same moment, sending a warning to every human system. Dr. Mara Lin translated the message quickly, her face turning pale. They have awakened. Aaron's eyes widened. He looked at the dark shape forming behind the fleets, a shape that seemed to swallow starlight itself. This was not human. Not alien. Not anything recorded. This was the enemy the ancient machine feared. The enemy ancient humans warned about. And it was returning now, just as humanity rose again. The Silent Fleet and the Alliance forces slowly turned toward the incoming shadow, unsure whether they were about to face their doom or their destiny. The shadow behind the fleets grew larger, swallowing starlight like a living eclipse. Every ship, human or alien, fell silent as sensors failed, radars froze, and communication screens flickered with static. Aaron Hale stood at the command deck of the flagship Soul's Wrath, staring at the void taking shape. His heart pounded, but his voice remained steady. Prepare all ships, Aaron commanded. Do not fire until we understand what we face. Across the Galactic Alliance, alien leaders watched through trembling screens. Some whispered prayers to forgotten gods, others argued in panic, but no one could deny the truth. Something far older than their civilizations was waking, and it was heading straight toward the exile zone. Deep underground in Haven Core, the ancient machine erupted in a storm of golden light. Doors opened, platforms rose, and old symbols spun like wheels as if the machine itself was fighting to send a final warning. Dr. Mara Lin and her team scrambled to decode the message. Symbols flashed faster than ever before, overlapping like the machine was yelling in its unknown language. When the final translation appeared, Mara's voice shook. They returned to finish what they began. The chamber trembled as the ancient rings rotated faster, releasing a pulse so strong it shook ice across continents. The machine was reacting to the shadow in space, not with fear but with recognition, as if it had seen this enemy before. Back above Earth, the shadow finally stopped growing and took a solid form. A massive structure unfolded like a mechanical spider, dark silver plates moving with terrifying precision. Hundreds of red lights blinked across its surface, each one scanning the fleets with cold focus. Captain Lyra Vance of the Silent Voyager whispered, "What is that thing?" No one had an answer. Not the humans. Not the aliens. Then a deep vibration echoed across space, like the sound of distant thunder. A beam of dark energy shot from the structure, tearing a hole through empty space, not firing at anyone yet, but showing its power. The message was clear. It could destroy. It could erase. And it was not afraid. Aaron opened a channel to all fleets. We face a threat older than all of us. If we fight each other now, we all die. His voice was calm, but the weight in it felt like steel. Stand with us, or fall alone. For the first time in history, the Alliance responded with silence, not from refusal, but from shock, and then, slowly, one by one, alien warships formed beside the human fleet. Old enemies now stood shoulder to shoulder. Because the thing approaching them did not care who was human or alien. It wanted to destroy everything. Aaron turned to his commanders, deploy vanguard units. The vanguard soldiers launched from the human ships like streaks of blue fire, their armor glowing from ancient energy. They spread across the battlefield in perfect formation, ready to defend humanity and any species willing to stand with them. Inside Haven Core, the ancient machine reached its peak brightness. A hidden chamber opened beneath it, revealing a metallic sphere covered in star markings. Dr. Mara Lynn gasped, "This is a key, a control device." She studied it closely and realized it matched the same markings found on those ancient ruins in distant space. "The enemy is something ancient humans fought before," she whispered, "and this key, it was made for us." On board the Soul's Wrath, Aaron received the transmission showing the sphere. He took a deep breath. "Prepare a drop team, we need that device in space." Within minutes, a special Vanguard squad transported the sphere to the human flagship. It vibrated lightly in Aaron's hands, glowing brighter when pointed toward the shadow, as if reacting to its presence. Lyra Vance's voice came through the communicator, "Commander, the enemy structure is powering up, they're preparing a massive strike." Aaron stepped forward and lifted the ancient sphere. Its glow expanded until it formed a shield-like aura around his ship. The silent fleet followed the signal and activated new systems awakened by the machine. Their ships glowed with ancient energy, engines humming with a power never seen in the galaxy before. Then the shadow finally attacked. A beam of dark energy shot across the battlefield, heading toward the human flagship, but as the beam struck, the sphere released a massive pulse of golden light, colliding with the attack and splitting it apart like fire cracking against a stone. The entire galaxy watched in disbelief. Humanity had stopped an enemy older than stars. Aaron shouted, "All ships, focus fire, this is our moment." Every human vessel unleashed its weapons, beams of white and blue light cutting through the darkness. The Vanguard launched coordinated assaults, striking the structure's weak points. The Alliance, shaken but determined, joined the attack with everything they had. For a brief moment, the shadow shuddered, cracks appearing along its surface. It tried to retaliate with more beams, but the sphere pulsed again and again, forming a barrier not even ancient darkness could break. Finally, with a thunderous explosion, the structure broke apart, collapsing into fragments of falling metal and fading red lights. The battlefield grew silent, ships drifting in stunned disbelief. Humanity had saved the galaxy. The exiles had returned not as victims, but as protectors, as leaders, as legends. Aaron stood on the bridge of his flagship, breathing slowly. "This is not the end," he said quietly. "This is the beginning." The Alliance contacted him with a trembling message, "Earth, humanity, will you lead the recovery?" Aaron nodded once, "We will stand with all who stand with us." Humanity was no longer the outcast. They were the force the galaxy needed. Their hidden rise had become their greatest strength. And somewhere in the ruins of the shadow structure, a final message flickered weakly, unseen by anyone. They were only the first. But for now, humanity stood stronger than ever, ready for whatever came next.